Hey everyone, this is Admiral Seabass. Welcome back to Operation Veration. This is turn 6 for U.S. Pacific Command. Sorry it's been so long since my last turn. Had a lot going on in and around my home, and so just it's been a while, but glad to get back to it. I hope you've been enjoying the other games out there. Operation Grimtide is nearing conclusion. Operation Knox is just heating up with Ozark Outpost, so please watch those if you haven't been. Okay, so tech. U.S. Pacific Command is going for SDI with 2 dice, looking for a 10 or higher. Tech 9 Advanced Air Superiority Fighters, looking for a 7 or higher. And then Tech 11 Advanced Sonar, looking for an 8. See if these tech dice can start heating up a little bit. How about no? Missed SDI. Missed Advanced Air Superiority Fighters, but we did get Advanced Sonar. So let's grab this, and Advanced Sonar will go to stage 3. Okay. All right. For my fellow V2 playtesters, I've made another change to diplomacy. This change, though, is fully reflected in the V2 red line that we are using. And so, and that change is simply, you now get 2 free diplomacy dice, and you can buy an additional one for 2, and for a max of 3, and you can use those on any eligible diplomacy attempts. So I'm buying at 1 dice, and I'm going to use that plus my 2 free ones on a single attempt. I'm playing the aid game this turn because Soviet Far East Command has been mucking around down in Southeast Asia, and even though they took West Malaysia, they're not an immediate threat against anything but Thailand on the following turn. So I'm going to take this opportunity to give some aid to a couple of my allies down there. Indonesia is going to get a field artillery for 1 IPP with the arms sales. Philippines is also going to get a field artillery for 1. Taiwan is going to get a destroyer and an SSN for a total of 6 with arms sales. Advisor used to deliver the SSN. And our friends the Canadians are getting a next gen MBT for 4 with a -1 arms sale discount for, I believe it's British Columbia. Then in regular purchase, we've already talked about the dice. And then I've got 1 battle star, which I'm not using. I'm going to use these blue and white stars here instead of the chips now to show battle stars. We're buying an amphibious assault ship for 6, 2 Marines for 8. I'm building 2 anti-ship missiles and 3 cruise missiles, and using the advisor to build 1 of the 3 cruise missiles at the minor airbase in Tokyo. Or not at, but you know what I mean. Generated by the minor airbase in Tokyo. Okay. So now I'll show you what we're going to do in combat. We do have a few combat moves this turn. Not a ton, but we have one big one. And that one is Pacific Command's been authorized to use theater nukes and below, which would include battlefield nukes, for several turns now. This turn we are going to take the battlefield nuclear option as we begin the liberation of Alaska. So we are going to have a battlefield nuclear surgical strike here in Alaska, which is why I have the nuclear marker here. Supporting that will be the attack bomber from Pacific Northwest will go 1, 2, 3. The attack bomber from the fleet here will go 1, 2. And they will be rolling 777s each with the SpySat in use. The major airbase in Pacific Northwest will be firing a cruise missile 1, 2, and +1 with the GLCM special ability. And they will be escorted by the air superiority fighter and the 2 fighters flying off of the U.S. supercarrier from the fleet in P-15. So 1 F-14, 2 F-18 Hornets. Soviets thought about Soviets could scramble up to 3 early generation fighters, but they only intercepted 2. And, maybe slightly less than a 50% chance of getting a single hit. And this combined, these 3, the air superior fighter and 2 fighters, almost certain to get a hit and might get 2. And so it's just not worth it for them. These are better off. Since I know the U.S. is building up to invade Alaska, these are much better off in defense and possibly adding to them at those air bases, which I've noticed as a Soviet player that the U.S. is not coming after the air bases, so I can build more EGFs and can try to stack this up as much as possible. So anyway, yeah, I'm not going to do that. We are going to walk into Southeast Alaska, and we will do that with the field artillery from British Columbia, and actually, he's not going to move in non-combat. The airborne will also come into Southeast Alaska. Actually, hang on just a second. Yeah, don't second guess yourself. The Marine is going to walk in to Southeast Alaska and reclaim that for Pacific Command. Okay. We are going to make the diplomacy roll, use all 3 dice for Canada, and try to flip that to U.S. Pacific Command. And that's all the combat here. Then we have the 2 U.S. SSNs that are in P-13. I really debated this one, but they are going to move 1-2 in here and try to take out the Soviet destroyer. Going to be very vulnerable to counterattack because the whole Soviet fleet is there with a couple of destroyers. They could pair some fighters. They could bring this SSK in. But, we're going to go for it. So, why not? Here, off of Japan, the strategic bomber is going to move to P-17, escorted by the air superiority fighter, and he's going to fire 1 cruise missile into South Korea and the other one into North Korea. We really want to kill the airborne, and we've got PGMs, so that's nice. We don't need to use the spy sat. Soviets could have scrambled 1 air superiority fighter from Vladivostok. They chose not to. Again, think that was a smart move. Obviously, I think it's a smart move. And then our last attack is here, where the U.S. DDG that is helping to protect the Taiwan fleet is going to fire an anti-ship missile against the Chinese fleet in retaliation for their attack on the Taiwan fleet last turn. All right, how about this time we go in reverse order and see what we can do. So, all right, we've got a single anti-ship missile, no spy sat. Coming in here, coming in hot, 5 or less against the Chinese fleet. That's a 4. So I think China will lose a missile patrol boat. All right, way to go, U.S. Navy. Okay. China is, I think, at danger of losing the balance of what's going on navally there. I think that's mostly because they've just been somewhat unfortunate in their attacks, that they haven't been able to get it done. So it's going concern for China. So I'm going to roll 2 dice here. One is going to be, the green dice is the cruise missile going into South Korea, and there's no SAMs there, so there's no AMD. The other dice, so the green dice is South Korea. And they both missed. Okay. No joy there. Let's do this battle in P9. The 2 black dice will be... Actually, no, we got to roll... Only one of the SSNs will get first strike at a 4. That's a 10. That's a miss. So now the other SSN will roll at a 4. That's a miss. And the destroyer, the Soviets, will roll back at a 4. That's a miss. Okay, we're going to keep going. So I'll roll them all together now since there's no more first strike. Oh boy. That was good subdriving and hunting. So Soviet destroyer is dead. Okay, let's move on. Okay, first let's roll for Canada. So I need a singleton or higher to align Canada to the Pacific Command. Oh gosh. No dice, literally. Okay, well, Canadians, come on, guys. All right. So then let's do the battlefield nuclear. So I will get. Oh, there's a spag there, which I just noticed. So hang on just a second. Okay, so with the spag there, one of the U.S. fighters is going to go on seed duty at a 6. I mean, that might have changed the interception calculus a little bit for the Soviets. I might have been slightly more likely to do it, but I'm not going to do it because I don't want to have to redo the turn, honestly. So anyway, let's go on. So first thing we're going to do is, I think, the missile. I can't remember, honestly, so I'm just going to wing it here. I think the seed mission will go at a 6. Okay, that's a hit. So the spag dies. Okay, now we can roll the missile. And we can roll... Hang on, let me get the dice together. Okay, easiest thing to do is going to be to roll the cruise missile first. So this is 5 or less, full target select. That's a hit. So we will target select one of the 2 field artillery with that hit. And now I'm going to roll 6 dice at 7 or less for the battlefield nukes. Coming in hot. Very, very hot for the attack bombers. 1, 2 hits. That's pretty bad, honestly. And they're not target select. So Soviets will pick the paramilitary and the light infantry for the hits. So U.S. killed 3 units. Not all is lost. All right, let's come back when we're ready for non-combat. Okay, so all the air except this attack bomber will go back to the fleet. So the 2 fighters will return to the supercarrier. The air superior fighter and the attack bomber. Okay. This attack bomber will return to Pacific Northwest. Right. Yep. This guy from Pacific Northwest, I will pick him up. Well, actually, first, let's do this. These 3 guys will move up, airborne will move up to Pacific Northwest. Then I'll pick up the guy who was there. He will airlift down to the Philippines. Okay. Then a strategic bomber will land back in Tokyo. And the air superiority fighter will land back in Tokyo. And I think... See, the Soviets now have 2 airborne that are in airborne assault range of Japan. And they now have battlefield nukes, and they have 3 air units capable of using said battlefield nukes. So I think smarter thing to do is to sealift these 2 mechs. Actually, one of the mechs and the MBT. Well, no, I'll leave the MBT there. These could be useful to snipe. No. We'll take one of the mechs and the MBT, and they will move down here by sea lift. And since I have stage 4 of advanced logistics, I can sea lift 2 out of this minor port, and then I've got plenty of sea lift capacity here. So that'll give us 2 mechs and 3 MBTs in Tokyo. And I'm also thinking that I don't like using bombers in defense, even if there's a chance that they can be attacked. So this bomber is actually going to land down here in the Philippines. He can operate from that joint base there between the US and the Philippines. Okay, I think that, I don't know if there's anything else I can move. So let's bring you back for non-combat. No, not non-combat, military aid delivery. Okay, so Indonesia gets a field artillery. The Philippines gets a field artillery. Taiwan gets more boats, a destroyer, and an SSN. Quite the fleet there for Taiwan now. And then everything else is going to be up here. So our stubborn Canadian friends will get a next-gen MBT here in British Columbia. And then we'll put the amphibious assault ship here with the fleet. And the 2 Marines will be built here, which you couldn't see. 2 Marines built here at the major army base in West Coast. All right, so let's collect money. I'll go ahead and put my cruise missiles on my dashboard. 3 will be nice next turn, and I'll get 2 more anti-ship missiles. Those are stacking up nicely. Okay, so let's talk about money. Thought I was going to get 1 more IPP and base income this turn, but I didn't. Also, I don't think I did get another battle star. I think for the surgical strike, I killed 3 or more land units in a surgical strike, so that's 1 battle star. All right, and then I get 23 in base income. 23, and then I get support from my overlords in Washington, D.C., and that support will equal, hopefully, 6. Let's see. It's 9, that's midway, that's 4. So that'll be 27 IPP. Plus 2 battle stars for the U.S. Pacific Command next turn. Take care, everyone.